Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for Chapter 3, Part 2, History, The Sultans of Delhi. In this video, we are going to discuss about the Khalji dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty, expansion of the Sultanate, sources of history of Delhi Sultanate, the case study of the Khaljis and Tughlaqs, the three orders, the peace of God, knights and the crusades. So these are some of the important topics which we are going to discuss in this video. First we will discuss about the Khalji dynasty. They ruled from AD 1290 to 1320. Now the founder of this dynasty was Jalaluddin Khalji and he ruled from AD 1290 to 1296. When he acceded the throne in 1290, his age was of 70 years. He was a kind-hearted and generous person and he forgave the rebellious nobles. And because of this, there was lawlessness and revolts in the kingdom. Now, his nephew, Alauddin Khalji, took advantage of his generosity and he murdered him and he ascended the throne. So like this, after Jalaluddin Khalji, Alauddin Khalji came into the throne. And he ruled from 1296 to 1316. Now he was a brilliant general and shrewd administrator. His dream was to conquer the whole world. And because of this, he called himself Second Alexander. That is Shikandari Shani. He believed that defense, expansion and consolidation could all go together. Now he followed the policy of defense from Mongol invasion and also adopted the policy of expansion. He followed the Mongol invasion policy and with that he also adopted the policy of expansion to expand his region. Now during his reign, the boundaries of Delhi Sultanate extended beyond the Vindhyas up to the Deccan, and the Sultanate reached new heights. So he has expanded his reign up to Deccan, beyond the Vindhya up to Deccan. Now after his death, the Khalji dynasty could not survive longer. So in AD 1320, Ghayasuddin Tughlaq captured the throne by killing the last ruler of the Khalji dynasty. And from here the Tughlaq dynasty came into existence. Now the Tughlaq dynasty ruled from AD 1320 to 1414. Now the first ruler was Ghayasuddin Tughlaq. He ruled from 1320 to 1325. He was an efficient and experienced administrator and he was military commander. Now there were some harsh measures which were imposed by Alauddin Khalji. He liberalized those hard measures and restored peace and order in the kingdom. He also built the fortified city of Tughlaqabad, which is in Delhi, and he died in an accident in AD 1325. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq came into power and he ruled from AD 1325 to 1351. Now, in his period, the Sultanate reached its farthest extent. Now, a foreign traveler, Ibn Battuta, provided adequate information about his reign. Ibn Battuta travelled from Morocco to India, and here he was appointed as the Chief Qazi of Delhi. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a great scholar of his time, and he was well versed in various branches of learning like logic, philosophy, mathematics, astronomy and physical sciences. Many of his ideas were very sensible and rational, but it was not executed properly, and because of that they ended in failures. Muhammad bin Tughlaq has been described as the wisest fool, a madman, an idealist and a visionary. Also, he has been described as a mixture of opposites. And the failures which he has seen lowered his prestige. He faced various rebellions in which several regions became independent. And he died in 1351. And after him, Firoz Shah Tughlaq came into the power. He ruled from AD 1351 to 1388. Now this Firoz Shah Tughlaq was a kind-hearted, peace-loving ruler. Now he adopted liberal policies to gain support of nobles and the army and the ulema. He is specially remembered for various public welfare schemes. He has implemented various public welfare schemes and he is remembered for those schemes. He also established new towns, educational centers and hospitals, etc. After his death, the governor of many provinces declared themselves as independent king. And finally, only a small area around Delhi remained in hands of the Tughlaq sultans. Now, invasion of Timur. During the last ruler of Tughlaq dynasty, Nasiruddin Muhammad Tughlaq, the Mongol king who was from Central Asia, Amir Timur, invaded India in AD 1398. He plundered Delhi and other towns and cities. He also ordered a general massacre in Delhi. Same as Mahmud of Ghazni, he also carried the wealth of India and the beauty to his own city of Samarkand. Now this invasion gave the final blow to the Sultanate, and various new kingdoms emerged in its place. This Timur's invasion destroyed the prosperity of India. After this, Sayyid dynasty came into existence and they ruled from 1414 to 1455. Now in this, Khizr Khan is there. Khizr Khan ruled from AD 1414 to AD 1421. He was a local governor and he called himself as the Viceroy of Timur. And he was the founder of Sayyid dynasty. Now the Sayyid dynasty ruled over Delhi and surrounding region for a very short time. And after that, Lodi dynasty came into power from AD 1451 to 1526. Now the founder of this Lodi dynasty was Bahlul Lodi. He ruled from AD 1451 to 1489. And he was responsible for the glory and strength of the Lodi dynasty. Thereafter came Sikandar Lodi, who ruled from AD 1489 to 1517, and he was greatest of the Lodi rulers. He controlled the Ganga Valley as well as Western Bengal. He also found the new city of Agra in AD 1506 and made it his capital. Then came Ibrahim Lodi, AD 1517 to 1521, and he was the last ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. He was harsh, cruel and unpopular. And he was defeated and killed by Babur in the first battle of Panipat in AD 1526. And from there, the Mughal Empire came into existence. Now, expansion of the Sultanate. So in this, we will discuss about the earlier conditions. So in the beginning, the Sultans of Delhi mainly controlled the heavily fortified towns, which was occupied by garrisons, and they rarely controlled the hinterlands, the land adjacent to a city or port that supplied it goods and services. So that area were rarely controlled by the sultans. So they had depend on trade, tribute or loot for supplies of goods. So this was the earlier condition. Now what were the challenges in controlling the kingdom? So there were many challenges in front of sultans while controlling the kingdoms. When there was a question to control the distant places, it was very difficult task. Like controlling garrison town in Bengal and Sindh from the capital city of Delhi was very difficult because it was far from the places. Rebellions, war and bad weather created obstacles in communication routes. That was also a challenge. The kingdom always feared the danger of Mongol invasions from Afghanistan. Now the governors could rebel at any sign of the sultan's weakness. Now the expansion of the Sultanate became possible mainly during the reign of Ghiyasuddin Balban, Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad Tughlaq. In their period, the expansion was there. Expansion campaigns. The sultans adopted two sets of expansion campaigns, which was internal frontier and external frontier. Now, in internal frontier, the sultan means the frontier along the garrison town that were controlled by the sultans. That was internal frontier. And gradually the sultan also began to consolidate the hinterlands. Now in this process, forests were cleared in the Ganga Yamuna Doab, and hunter-gatherers and pastoralists were expelled from their habitat. The Delhi sultans were interested in cutting down forests so that they can extend the area of agricultural land. Also, the cleared land were given to peasants for agricultural purpose. Now the sultans also established new fortresses and towns so that they can protect the trade routes, so that they can promote regional trade. So these two steps were taken as the internal frontier. Now we have external frontier, and this means the external frontiers of the Sultanate. Now, to expand the external frontier of the Sultanate, military expedition into South India were started by Alauddin Khalji. And after that, Muhammad Tughlaq took it to a new height. He continued the process. Now, during this campaign, Sultanate armies captured horses, elephants and slaves. They also carried away gold and jewelry with them. When there was end of Muhammad Tughlaq's reign, Delhi Sultanate controlled a large part of the subcontinent, and it used to collect tax from the peasantry and dispensed justice in its expanded kingdom. Now there are some of the places given here. So masjid is basically a mosque where a Muslim prostrates in reference to Allah. Congregational mosque, which is Masjid-e-Jami or Jama Masjid. Muslims read their prayers or namaz together over here. Namaz is a kind of prayer of Muslims. Imam, they are members of a congregation, choose the most respected learned male as their leader for the rituals of prayer, and that leader is called Imam. Khatba, this is a sermon that is delivered by the Imam during the Friday prayer. Qibla, during prayer the Muslims stand facing Mecca. In India, this is to the west and this is called the Qibla. So these are some of the terms. Now we will discuss about sources of history of Delhi Sultanate. So we can get the information about Delhi Sultanate from many sources like histories, the accounts of foreign travelers, the court chronicles or Tawarik inscriptions, coins, architectures, etc. But the most valuable source of information are Tawarik and the accounts of the foreign travelers. Now, Tawarik is the plural form of Tariq. They are actually the court chronicles, which is written in Persian language, and they were written by the secretaries, administrators, poets, and courtiers. Also, the authors of Tawarikhs described events and advised sultans on governance. Now, in this, there was no information about the lives of ordinary men and women. They lived in cities, especially in Delhi, and they rarely lived in the villages. And they generally wrote chronicles in the praise of sultans so that they could get rich awards. They also advised rulers to preserve an ideal social order based on birthright and gender distinctions. And their ideas were kept secret by the sultans. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video.